I want to bring in our expert this hour, trial attorney Trey Gober. Trey, thank you, of course, for being with us today. Always appreciate that. Tell me what you think of Matthew McCabe. He's an eyewitness in terms of he's in the house. He's describing what he noticed out of the window, the dark SUV that kind of moved down the street in front of the house, past the house. Is it credible, and does it help the state's case?
He certainly helps the state's case. He's professional, he's credible, he's trustworthy, he's being very, something I always look for credibility in a witness is, are they being careful about how they're testifying? In other words, are they qualifying their yes answers? Are they giving details? Are they being specific to help convince a jury that they're testifying to what actually happened versus the story that they would, purportedly be fabricated? Of course, all of this is going to be countered by the defense because of the defense theory that this is all just a cover-up and obviously Mr. McCabe's relationship with Albert. So the defense would still maintain its argument. The defense is doing a good job with the case that they have, but the prosecution certainly has a great witness here to present their case.
And what do you think of the fact that in this particular case, the jury does get to take notes? Matt Johnson is there live, and he just reported a little bit ago they were leaning in, they're listening, they're taking notes. To me, I feel like that's always favorable to the prosecution because they're writing down all the specific facts. Does it mean anything?
I've certainly tried several cases where jurors are allowed to take notes, and I'll tell you that I'll get excited and read into the fact that the jurors are taking notes, but it doesn't necessarily tell us what they're thinking. Sometimes taking notes is a good way to combat boredom and to make sure that we're paying attention. So it's good that the jurors are taking notes. It means that they're listening, paying attention, taking everything seriously, but I don't think we should read.
Yeah, good points all, absolutely. But it is great to hear they are paying attention and taking notes. All right, Trey, stay with us. We want to get back into court now for more of Matthew McCabe's testimony still on direct examination. Still with us, trial attorney Trey Gober. Trey, I have not gotten to speak to you yet about this case against Chad Daybell. Tell me, first of all, how you think the state's doing with witnesses to prove Chad committed all three of these murders.
The state's doing a good job. It's a complicated case. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a co-defendant. It's always unfortunate when these trials have to drag on so long because, from 30,000 feet, the case seems very straightforward. But the prosecution has this sense and is compelled to try to close off any gaps that the defendant could try to use or the defense would use to raise issues of any type of reasonable doubt on behalf of the jury. And so it makes it unnecessarily drawn out and detailed in ways that maybe it doesn't need to be.
Let me ask you this, Trey, because we know Lori Vallow did not face the death penalty. She's serving a sentence, life in prison without parole. Chad faces the death penalty. How much harder does that make for the state, if it does at all?
It makes it harder in the sense that you're really trying two cases and you're potentially looking for two different types of juries. The type of jury willing to find somebody guilty and the type of jury also willing to impose death penalty may be slightly different people in the way that they react. And so you really have to focus, or be looking more for jurors who we're confident are going to convict, but also impose the death penalty. Flip that for the defense may very well know they're probably going to lose on the guilt-innocence phase, but they want to tee everything up to win, so to speak, on guilt-innocence, or on death.
Right, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yes, so they avoid the death penalty. All right, thank you to Trey Gober, of course, for joining me this hour.